Hello everybody, welcome to the next KO analysis. So this one is a little bit late because, well, COVID-19 kind of messed up my year and I had a bunch of other stuff to do. But now I've got everything squared away and I can focus on this channel again and the content. So we're going to look at UFC Fight Night Covington versus Woodley. That's also known as UFC Fight Night 178, UFC on ESPN plus 36 and UFC Vegas 11. Once again, thank you to the UFC for making our lives miserable and not sticking to one single naming convention. Moving on to the second point. So I'm going to stick to a short analysis because a lot of people complain that it's too long. Right, guys, you get what you want. I'll keep it short and sweet. And at the same time, I will do more in-depth analysis on a Patreon channel that I'm setting up right now, which will have longer breakdowns, more details, obviously, but also podcast episodes, instructional videos, and a bunch of other stuff. So check out the links in the description here for my social media, and there you can find it when it's going to go live. Anyway, the fight that we're going to look at, Khamzat Chimaev versus Gerald Meerschaert. And Gerald, his last name is pronounced the way I pronounce it, Meerschaert. It's a Dutch name. It's not an American name. It's not an English name. It's a Dutch name. So it's Meerschaert, okay? You guys have to pronounce it correctly. That includes you, Dominic Cruz. Anyway, all joking aside, what the hell happened? Well, Meerschaert was very quickly pushed back towards the fence, and he tried to get away from Chimaev by strafing and circling off to the side. Now, as the fence obviously is in octagon shape, what happens is that eventually you have to turn a corner. Now, what Chimaev did well is that instead of just staying parallel, he very slowly came closer until eventually what you get is that both lines of the footwork will converge at a given point, which means that as soon as he's close enough, he can step in and launch his punch, that was exactly what he did, and he did that really well. I'm going to go into detail a little bit here, but not all that much. Again, like I said, Patreon video will have more. There's a really nifty trick he did that I'm not going to mention here. That'll be on Patreon that everybody seems to miss. And it's one of the reasons why he could get this knockout. So what do we see? We see him working off the fence here, trying to stay away from it. And Meerschaert keeps on moving sideways. And he's got a really, really good look here, looking straight at his opponent. That's fine. But in the meantime, he doesn't notice that Chimaev is closing the gap bit by bit. So what we'll see here, and I'll mention that in a little bit. So we're close to where the punch lands. Okay, I'm going to pause right here so you can see. I'll show it on the other angle in detail. Fist here, here's a fist. What do we have? We have a straight line. And that means that his head is one big target and there's a straight line for that punch to come in. So all it needs is proper timing, and that's what Chimaev did perfectly. So you'll see this going to step in here. There's a little bit of a drop with the right hand, which you can see here. So I'm going to go back. See, that's a drop with the right hand. Chimaev drops his hand a little bit of a technical error. We try to avoid those, but the guy's so good and he's so fast that it hardly matters in this case. So a little bit of a drop. And then I'm going to talk about this right hand when we get to the other angle. And then the punch just scoots in and you see perfectly placed here on the side of the chin. I mean, that's a perfectly placed right hand. Boom, it lands, and you can see the rotation of the head of Meerschaert, and this is what causes the knockouts, right? So really well done by Chimaev. Nothing but praise for the way he placed that one. It was impressive. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, the impact is devastating. You see Meerschaert, he just drops down, and you'll see that Chimaev does a couple more strikes, but really that was just until the ref pulled him off, and the fight was over at that point. So you can see the ref coming in here, and the guy moves away. So from the different angle, once again, this is critical. So this is the open guard, and this is the fist right here. Fist has a straight shot. Oh, that's the wrong one. I need this one. He has a straight shot towards the chin, and that's just something you need to avoid. Avoid at all cost, because why? Well, I mean, this guy knocks you out so easily. He's got such great power, good range, speed, good technique, and so on. So you can't take those risks, right? So the point about the hands, I want you to watch this right hand right here of Meerschaert. See what happens. So we're going to go bit by bit. So this is where you see that Chimaev is already using his left hand to reach out a little bit, aiming, measuring distance. And then you see as a punch comes in, see what happens. you can see that the right hand is pushed outwards. We've seen a lot of fights where somebody pokes in the eyes of his opponent, which is not allowed in MMA. And this is one of the reasons. Instinctively, one of the reactions we have when we are attacked is to either close the guard, cross our hands if you're not properly trained, or extend the arms as he does here. Now, at that distance, at that range, it doesn't stop anything. So this is a bad reaction. You don't see that in boxing anymore, except with beginners. We still see that in MMA. So that's a big mistake on Meerschaert's part, is because the only thing that does is keep this whole corridor here, right here, wide open. He has his left hand covering high, but once again, this whole center part here in between his head and his right hand is wide open. So anything that travels inside this box here is going to land. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter which direction it comes from. It's going to land. So guys, if you're training, try to avoid non-stop this extension of the right hand, because that's what messes you up. And then you see here, once again, the right hand comes in, and look at the perfect placement. And I want you guys to watch here what happens when the head rotates. You see Meerschaert's head turn. This is what causes knockouts. There's a rapid rotation of your head that makes your brain get scrambled, and then you go down. And that's it. Okay. All right. So that's it. Short breakdown. Guys, check out social media. It's in the description. You can find the links there. And be on the lookout for my upcoming Patreon. In the meantime, keep on training.